Bonjour mon amis, and welcome back to America What the Heck. Sorry I haven't uploaded a video recently. It's been a kind of rough couple of weeks and I've been sick, so whoops, but I'm back and I'm here, and that's why it's being uploaded on a Monday. So, woo! Anyways, on today's America What the Heck, we're going to go over the incidents with Macedonia, with migrants, the issues in Syria where ruins have become ruined, the issue in Miami with the Zika virus, and of course the 2013 attack on a transgender woman. First things first though, Macedonia. So as several of you might know, there has been an issue with migrants going from Greece into other parts of Europe. In Macedonia, actually, the police have been using tear gas to stop these migrants at the border with Greece. Now I'm going to point something out really important right here, right now. The majority of these migrants are women and children. So the Macedonian police are using tear gas and rubber bullets against children. Let this sink in for a little bit right now. Quote, more than 12,000 people, mostly women and children, have been stuck there for more than a month amid hopes that the border will reopen, end quote. So imagine right now, you're trying to get from one part of your neighborhood to the other part, and there's a police force standing right there making sure that you don't do that. Now they're not just standing there, they're throwing tear gas at you and shooting rubber bullets at you. Now rubber bullets are a lot nicer, I suppose, than actual bullets, but still, if you get one of those in your eye, goodbye eye. It is awful. Because the majority of these, as I've said, are children. It's ridiculous. And there's an issue that, quote, at camps on Greek islands, deportations of migrants who crossed illegally from Turkey began last week, setting off a wave of anxiety amongst migrants who fear that they might be among those facing return to Turkey, or at least stuck in Greece for the foreseeable future, end quote. Okay, that's a terrifying aspect. You're stuck in these refugee camps that are not the best at all. They're kind of subhuman to live in them. And then now these people are being deported because they came here illegally. Yes, I agree, you shouldn't have come here illegally. However, they were fleeing from violence. They were fleeing away from these horrible incidences that are happening in their home countries. And a lot of people are going, oh no, all the refugees are actually extremists and they're trying to kill us and blah blah blah. No, because now you're starting to sound like the Greek far-right party Golden Dawn. Now this party has actually, quote, begun marching in several areas around Greece where migrants are camped or massed at informal gathering points. The group, whose main leaders were arrested in 2013 on charges of leading a criminal organization, have been largely silent since the migrant crisis took hold. Yet, in recent days, its leaders, who have since been released from custody, said the party was planning numerous protests around the country against what they warn is the Islamification of Greece by Muslim asylum seekers coming mainly from Afghanistan, Syria, and elsewhere in the Middle East. Oh no! Islam and Muslims in Europe? We've never heard of that before. Read a history book. Seriously, there have been plenty of Muslims living in Europe peacefully for thousands of years, and now we're freaking out about this? I have several, not very many, but I have several friends who practice Islam, and they are the nicest people I have met. Some of the very, very nicest people I've met. In fact, the most violent, one of the girls that does practice Islam, one of my friends, ever got was, I guess, with her sass. That's the only mean thing she's ever done. She's just been really sassy towards people. She's never done anything that could cause any pain, any destruction, anything like that. She's never gone off and set off a car bomb or anything like that because she's a good human being. And honestly, we shouldn't be looking at these refugees as Islamic, as Muslims, as bad people. No, they are our brothers and sisters. They are those people who are coming over from these horrifying places where they could easily be killed. And they're trying to save themselves. and yet we're throwing tear gas at them and shooting rubber bullets. It's ridiculous, and what I have to say is, Macedonia, what the heck? Still remaining overseas right now, we're gonna go over to Syria. Alright, let's go a little hop, skip, and a jump over to Syria. Well, ISIS. ISIS is doing something that's kind of giving me a little bit of deja vu. ISIS apparently now has gone to destroying archaeological treasures in Palermo. So, what Islamic group actually did this? Al-Qaeda. They went out and they destroyed as many things of beautiful Buddhist statues as they could, just because symbolism in the Islamic culture is not seen. However, they didn't see them as symbolic visions of other people's religions. They saw it as a curse against their god. No, they are historic artifacts. They're not just a statue of their god, of the not Hindu, but of a Buddhist god. No. They are also historical artifacts that needed to be preserved, not blown up with sticks of dynamite. And that's what ISIS has gone and done. There's actually this, the Temple of Bel, oh my goodness, beautiful place. There is a museum that has been attacked and just looted and destroyed. And there's actually apparently a very famous statue of the Lion of Al-Flat. Quote, a 2,000-year-old statue of a lion holding a gazelle in its mouth had been felled by an Islamic State demolition team. And they actually have a picture of it, end quote. They actually have a picture of it, and I don't know how well you can see it, but look at that. They've just completely destroyed this beautiful piece of artwork that someone made and slaved over for 2,000 years for essentially no reason. And actually, there was a spokesman who even said this, quote, our enemies are so stupid, Mohammed Salem, an Islamic State official said from the outskirts of Palmyra, which lies beside the modern city of Tadmor. We captured a whole town and houses from them, and they recaptured sand and destruction, end quote, because you destroyed it. Because you decided that, you know what, you decided to be that really snarky little 4-year-old, if I can't have it, no one can, and you destroyed it. Wow, ISIS. Just wow. This beautiful artifact, all these artifacts from the Palermo Museum were either looted or destroyed, just blown up and just demolished. And it's ridiculous. And we need to preserve these things because this is where it's predicted that civilization began. That we came from the smallest area and around the Middle East area and expanded from there. Technically, a lot of people are arguing, oh, it's actually from Africa, but part of Africa is also part of the Middle East. It's ridiculous. We can't go off and destroy all of these things, because what if our kids in the future want to come back and, hey, what happened in this place? Oh, I don't know, they've all been destroyed, we can't really find anything. And there are people, hopefully, who were looting them not just for gain, for profit, but also to protect it, to protect these beautiful artifacts. Because quote, end quote, the Brian Denton, the author of this piece, went and visited Palmyra. He said that, quote, the front gate of Palmyra's museum was secured with a heavy padlock. Experts say on all sides in the Syrian civil war have participated in the looting of antiques. I saw a hole dug near one of the ancient sites where an underground chamber that may have been a crypt could be reached. Shards of pottery and bone fragments had been placed on a stone, as if people had been searching underground for artifacts, end quote. I sincerely hope that they weren't just being destroyed. I sincerely hope that they weren't just being sold on the black market. I hope that people were actually going in there and trying to find these artifacts to save them, to make sure that they would be restored, hopefully one day to their rightful place, when this horrifying event ends. Okay. Now we go back stateside. Okay, Miami. Okay. So I stated before in one of my earlier videos that we needed to fight against the Zika virus, and there are certain ways we could do that by making sure that we don't have pools of stagnant water. Well, Miami, I have an official telling you to stop doing this, because an official named Charles Vasquez, Miami-Dade County's mosquito control manager, actually went around Miami and was trying to make sure that he could see where these insects could be laying their eggs and how to prevent this. Well, as I wanted to show you in this lovely picture, people are kind of failing at that, because look, that's supposed to be a pool. That's just nasty. And I understand that people are like, oh, they have bigger things to worry about, like alligators in Florida, Karina. Oh no. Yes, I understand this. However, there's also this tiny little insect that's really annoying, likes to bite you and suck your blood, and also might happen to have a horrifying disease with it too, called the Zika virus. Yeah. And the article did say that, Miami does have very little funds to actually fight against this, but the normal human being, the regular Joe and living in Florida, could help with this. I mean, you can go and empty out your pool. You can clean out your pool. And there's actually things that you can do with this. You can have a thing that actually stirs around in your pool, and I understand not a lot of us are very wealthy, but still, you could do something to go outside every day and stir your pool. Stir it around a little bit, try to make sure that it's not stagnant. And there's also the issue of bird baths. Bird baths are wonderful ideas, however, they don't always work. Well, there's one form of a bird bath that actually works. My neighbors actually have a beautiful fountain of a bird bath where it goes up and then it has two separate bowls with water in it. And the fountain itself sets out little bits of water every so often, almost actually kind of frequently, and it stirs the water around just enough to make sure that mosquitoes don't go and lay eggs in it, but not too rough to make sure that birds don't feel comfortable bathing in it. And it's a wonderful idea. But if we don't have the money for that, or we just don't feel like going out and finding that, wherever that could be, you can go and stir it, or just go and change out the water every so often, because the official actually found several larvae of, I'm going to pronounce this horribly wrong, Aedes aegypti mosquito, the type that's actually spreading the Zika virus, in Miami. And that's not to say that these specific mosquito larvae actually do carry this strain of virus. However, they could. And it doesn't take very much to start up a little spurt of all this disease. It could be a local flare-up that might happen in one place, and then that woman or man, whoever was infected, might accidentally bring it somewhere else when they go visit their family, or someone who comes and visits family in Florida might accidentally bring it back home with them. So we need to stir up everything, we need to move things around, and just, America, what the heck? Why haven't we already started doing this? Why isn't there more of an aggressive front against this virus? We could prevent this, and we're doing nothing. Alright, last but not least now, we're going to go to 2013 trial. So in 2013, a man beat a transgender woman to death. Now he was claiming all these things of, I was such in a rage and I couldn't do this. No, there's no excuse of beating a person to death. I don't care what gender they are. I don't care if they're transgender, if they decided they didn't want to go as any gender. I don't care. You beat a human being to death. You need to say, yes, I am guilty. I beat this person to death. Alright, I'm going to give you the entire story though first. This is from an article called Man Pleads Guilty in 2013 Fatal Beating of Transgender Women. End quote. Alright, here we go. Quote, a Brooklyn man who fatally beat a transgender woman after a chance encounter in Harlem in 2013 pleaded guilty on Monday to manslaughter in exchange for a sentence of 12 years in prison, prosecutor said. End quote. Whoa, 12 years in prison for murdering someone. True, it probably wasn't premeditated, but still, 12 years. And this is, how many years? Okay, think. This is 2016. He was just now prosecuted to serve 12 years in 2016 when he did this in 2013. At least this man actually, he did come and turn himself in. He did fess up to the crime. but it's taken 3 years. 3. Now, okay, let's say that, okay, maybe it was in whatever. No, it's taken approximately 3 years for this to happen. It's ridiculous. Now, actually, the lead prosecutor was a little upset with just the 12 years. He wanted at least 17 years, which, good on for you. You wanted at least 17 years for this man who brutally murdered a woman. And I know a lot of you out there are going to go, oh, well, actually, it wasn't a woman. They were born a man. No. They're a woman. Shut up. Get over it. Okay. What happened was, apparently, Mr. Dixon, the assailant, he met her, this Islan Nettles, very beautiful woman. He met her on the street in Harlem just after midnight in 2013, of August 17th. So he apparently started flirting with her, and she reciprocated, and then his friends started teasing him because she's transgender. Well, then apparently, quote, Mr. Dixon admitted that he punched Miss Nettles in the face, knocking her down, then punched her a second time while she lay on the sidewalk. I just didn't want to be fooled, he said. Miss Nettles, a 21 assistant at a fashion company, died 5 days later of a head injuries that she sustained when her head hit the sidewalk. Prosecutors said that the evidence shows that she was struck repeatedly while she lay on the pavement, ramming her head into the concrete, end quote. Oh, he hit her. I was like, yeah, I punched her in the face, and then I hit her like afterwards, but I wouldn't know. No, if the morgue is telling you guys, hey, this woman was hit so many times into the concrete that she died of internal brain injury. This is not just like, oh, I punched her in the face. No, it's ridiculous. And there are advocates for the transgender women in court. They said that they were very disappointed in the fact that it was only 12 years. It's ridiculous. I mean, not just the fact that he wasn't charged until several years later. I'm saying the fact that he was like, oh, I mean, I hit her once. And then he goes off and he claims that she attacked me from behind. No, you just said that you punched her in the face. How did she attack you from behind and then you punched her in the face in retaliation? No, you should have punched her in the face. Maybe she hit you from behind. Maybe, okay, fine. But that makes no excuse of punching a woman in the face and then bashing her head into the pavement until she passes out and then possibly dies. And the worst part was, he said that he just didn't want to be fooled. He just didn't want to be fooled? Into what, thinking that she was still alive? No, I don't care if you go and flirt with a transgender woman or a transgender man. It doesn't matter. It shouldn't matter of their gender. Whatever gender that they are right now, if I, for instance, I was born a woman, but I, for instance, decided, you know what, in all reality, I feel like I'm a man, and I decide to go through the grueling process of becoming a man and go doing that, and then I go start flirting with women, I expect them to treat me as if I'm a man. And if I was the other way around, if I was born a man and now I'm a woman, then I would expect men to treat me as a woman because I look like a woman. Just because they do this does not mean that they gave up their rights to be a human being. They're still a human being. You straight up murdered a human being, and you should take more than just 12 years. It's ridiculous, it's sad, and it's just kind of sickening, honestly. Alright, now I don't want to end this on a bad note. So I'm going to tell you guys about a little fun experience I went to go see. So, I went to go see this. And that it was amazing, and I highly recommend if anyone ever does find them. They're going to go off to Scotland, actually, this summer. And it was amazing. I was really hoping that they would have a picture of, tiny picture of Aslan, but look at it. It took 3 people to manipulate that entire structure. It was so amazing, and I highly recommend going and seeing it if you can. If you're going to be in Tennessee, I believe is their next place that they're going to, but if not, then try to find it somewhere because it was amazing. And of course, I got the t-shirt. So yeah, also, hashtag I found Aslan. So I hope you guys do have a good week. I hope that you learned a little bit more about what's going on in our world. And thanks for watching America What the Heck. If you like, subscribe. If not, oh well.